Thank y'all for listening. What you guys just heard was etude number 64 from the book titled Advanced Musical Etudes for Trombone and Euphonium in Bass Clef by Reginald H. Fink. I'm probably gonna link the sheet music to this in the description. So I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm not gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna see if it's legal to do that. I don't want to get in no goddamn trouble. But I'm gonna see if it's legal to put this in the description so you can look at it as well. So the main thing about this song, the number one thing when playing this song is to emphasize the down beats. Let me show y'all. It's like 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. You gotta really emphasize that. Now let me just show you an example. Let me show you an example. Another thing you want to do is to hold the note out for long. The very last note leading into the next one. So dun 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 dun. Don't cut that last note short. I guess the note before the last note, I would say, right before you go into the next measure. The dotted eighth note. The dotted eighth note. Don't do this. Do this instead. That's gonna lead it into excitement. You don't want to stop the music. The main feel of this song is deciso. As you can see on the sheet music, it says deceit. I'm not sure that's how you completely precisely say it, but that means with determination. That's why I'm saying you want to keep the music going. You want to keep it strong. Keep the music going. You want to start that song out strong. The first note should just really set the tone for the piece. That's why I really love this song. You really need to accent those notes. The first note has got to have a noticeable difference between the other notes. When I say first note, I mean the downbeat. The downbeats have to be noticeably different. You want them to notice that you want them to notice that 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Dun, 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 dun. You really want to hit them notes hard and strong. So the one change in this song that's noticeable from what I was talking about is measure 17. Once you hit that part, you want to drop down to not really a piano, because not that low. I would say around mezzo piano to mezzo forte. Really, that part right there is where you want to emphasize, like I said, the downbeats, because you're playing softer, but those notes have to stick out. Those notes, the downbeats. Let me show you an example. Probably not that much, because I feel like I'm attacking it a bit too much. I need more practice with that. But you see what I'm going with this. Maybe when practicing, do it like that. But as you continue on throughout the practice, just try to even it out a little bit. But definitely have those notes stand out, because the piece is still with determination. You don't want to stop the flow that much. But there's definitely a noticeable difference. Like as soon as you reach that measure 17. People who listen to this and be like, "Whoa, what just happened?" This message just changed. Let me show you an example. As you go on throughout the piece, that part of it, once you get to the very end of that little phrase, the very end where you go, once you get to that part, that's the end of that portion of the piece where you playing soft and but from that I think it's measure 17 to measure 26, that part with dun, 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 you're gonna naturally crescendo. It's weird. It's like a natural crescendo. You don't really have to think about it, but I really think, because as you go throughout that part, you're gonna be going higher and higher, and as you go as you increase the range of the notes you're playing, you naturally play a bit louder. So don't worry too much about how high or how low you're playing when you're playing it. It just comes naturally. To me, that is, it may be different for you. You may have to spend more time with it, but it's definitely something you want to start small and work your way up to something strong at the very, very end. Another thing I want to talk about during that little portion is let that G flat resonate. Let that note at the very end resonate. I guess the two notes at the very end. Let me tell you. That one right there, I guess the very last two notes, dun, dun, it's the same note, but different ranges. You want that this now this is up to interpretation, but that's how I do it. I really like doing it like that. That's something I really like doing right there at that particular point. It really brings it out, and you don't want to speed. You don't want to slow down too much at the very end. I know it says moto retard, but you don't want to go like this. That brings it to a close too slowly. You want to gradually bring it into it. That's something I like doing, and that's just my interpretation of it. Okay, now the third part of the piece, which is basically measure 27 to measure 44. That little part right there, you want to use the same thing as the first part, you know, from the beginning to right before measure 17, where the contrast happens. You know, that right there is pretty much the same stuff. You want to keep that same energy. But the hardest, in my opinion, the hardest part of the song is right after that measure 45 and onward. That one right there is probably the hardest for me part of the song, because you just got done, you know, giving your all, like I said, with determination. That part right there, you're toning it down, you're going into the end part of the song. It's saying, you know, you're playing piano, you're playing in piano. In my opinion, I don't really think you should be playing in piano. I think you should be doing, like I said, just like measure 17, mezzo piano to mezzo forte, around that area, because whenever I play it, it'll sound a bit too weak, especially when you're playing low notes. You want to put some air through your horn when you're playing low notes, and you definitely do not want to have that in your brain to play piano. And that's just my opinion. It'll sound too weak. You want the air to flow through, especially in that little portion. But with that little portion, I really like to hone in. You lost a lot of, like, your concentration is low. You like, man, I'm at the end. I'm at the very end finally. Like, I'm tired. I gave my all throughout that part. I can finally calm down. This is not the time to calm down. This is where you have to concentrate for real, because your notes can sound very like from when I play that part, it can sound real ugly because you're not really focused on your tonguing. Especially in measure 46, I believe that's the lowest note you hit, that G flat. Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant measure 45. Yeah, measure 45 is where you hit that low G flat. That right there, I struggle a bit, because you spent the whole time playing up here, especially right before you hit measure 45. You were spending all that time up. You spending all that time up there. Now you got to bring it down. Let me show you guys an example. Yeah, that particular portion right there, it will mess you up if you're not focused on it. That's why I always say in this song, you don't want to play it too soft. You don't want to get too soft in those areas. Measure 17, measure 45, in that area, you do not want to get too soft. It's gonna mess you up. Those low notes, that low note needs to be heard. And if you are tired and if you're not concentrating, that G flat will not be heard. You really got to focus on it. You got to think about tonguing that specifically. That's probably the main note that you have to concentrate on. You know, as you get towards the end of the song, you still don't want to lose concentration, but definitely at that particular point, you really want to focus. Overall, you know, this is a pretty hard song. I thought it was gonna be easy. Like this song right here, I played in high school. I feel like I don't know if I'm playing it better than I did before, but I definitely feel like I'm messing up a lot more. You know, maybe I just been out of practice with this particular song, but it definitely, maybe because I'm thinking a bit more. I feel like maybe I am playing a bit better with the song because I'm thinking about it a bit more, and I know exactly what's going on at the particular points. The main thing, one of the main things is you gotta find like the breath marks. I feel like you don't want to just play this song without thinking about where to breathe, because you're going all over the place. You're gonna lose concentration when you're at a point where you got to take a breath, and that's not the proper point to take a breath, because you won't be prepared for that next part. You really want to have the breath marks down, because especially around, like I said, measure 17, around those areas, you really want to have them down, because you do not want to lose focus. I feel like that's just something you're gonna lose concentration with. Once you take a breath, you're gonna be all over the place. And it's good to be okay at this point right here. I'm gonna take a breath and I'm gonna keep it going. Once you have that down, you're gonna have all the notes cleaner because you know exactly what you're gonna do in every particular situation. I feel like it's not a good idea to just play through an etude without knowing where to breathe. Especially, I feel like it's more so in faster pieces where you're going all over the place, moving the slide and stuff. You got all this energy being used. You want to be able to have things under control, and I feel like you lose a bit of the control when you don't know in your mind what you're about to do in a particular situation. I feel like you want your brain to be thinking about mostly about the tone of the music, and not so much thinking about, okay, I gotta breathe here, I gotta breathe here. You want to have the breath marks already down, memorized, so you don't even think about breathing. You already know I'm gonna breathe here and here. Now the main thing is just thinking about the tone of the piece. That's what I think is best, because you're gonna be out of breath. You're gonna be you want to know, I'm gonna breathe here, then I'm gonna breathe here, because you're gonna be. It's not gonna sound clean. You taking all these breaths in between the phrases. You want to have these phrases down. You want to know exactly when the phrase ends and when it begins. I think that's a very important part of playing etudes, and I think that's how I've been able to improve a lot throughout my musical trombone career. I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this piece for now. I'm definitely coming back to this, because that was ugly. That mess was ugly as heck. I feel like I can improve my performance. I definitely could have played that better. I'm gonna move on to another piece, but I will come back to this piece very not I don't know how soon I'm gonna come back to it, but it needs improvement. That's pretty much all I had to say. I'm gonna see y'all later. Goodbye.